I took a month off training and pretty much focusing on my diet at all. Well, welcome back to another video. Today's video is something a little bit different, but I honestly am a little bit grateful, well, very grateful that this has come at the time that it has, because we're heading into the holiday season, we're heading into Christmas time, and I feel like this is a time where a lot of people need to skip the gym, or they might get poorly. As we can tell, I've been poorly, and they might need to skip the gym for health reasons or just for spending time with family, being out of town, traveling. And I'm really hoping that this video can put some minds at ease and also help anyone out who has recently had to take time out of the gym, take time off training. So I have had about a month off training properly. I've trained twice, but they weren't proper training sessions in the past month. It's actually been just over a month now. My diet has also not been usual. I haven't been focusing on protein. I haven't tracked full stop. I've just been sort of intuitive eating, but I will admit the past 2 weeks my diet has not even been intuitive. It's just been awful. I've been so busy. I've been neglecting myself the past 2 weeks for sure. I've just been working a lot and I've had takeaways. I spent an obscene amount of money on takeaways last week and just not really on it with my diet. So the reason I've ended up taking a month off training and my diet was a complete accident. I didn't plan to do this, but I'm so glad that it happened. And like I said, I'm glad it happened when it did, because I'm hoping this can help people through the holiday season. So the reason why I have not been to the gym properly or trained properly in a month is I had a week in Dubai and then I flew to Turkey for a work trip. My diet there was like, I don't know if I ate less or more, because I was eating like 2 meals a day, but the meals were also quite big, so God knows what my diet was like there, but Turkish food is incredible and I loved every second. And because I was there to work, I'm not used to doing hours like the hours that we were doing. I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not used to it. I know it's the norm for some people, but like getting up at like 7 AM and getting back at like 10 PM is not something I'm used to. So I wanted to make sure that I could be fully present with the people that I was with, so I wasn't setting alarms to get up and go and train at the crack of dawn. So I didn't train that week, and then I came back to Black Friday and I trained once since I got back, but it wasn't a proper session and I was starting to get poorly at that point, so it wasn't the best session and I only did a few things and then I pretty much left. And yeah, then the past 2 weeks it's just been Black Friday work, no time for the gym, diet, like I said, has been awful. And so all in all, I've ended up taking a month off the gym. And I have been training for years and years and years now. Like, I don't know, I started going to the gym, not training properly, but I started going to the gym when I was in like year 10. And I'm now 24, going on 25 this coming June. And I have never, just dawned on me, I have never taken a month off training the entire time I've trained. When I've had surgeries after my boobs, I was cleared to go back after 2 weeks for light cardio and machines, so I did. After I got my nose done, I went back after about 3 weeks, and I have never taken this amount of time off training, paying attention to my food before in my entire fitness journey. And like I said, it's happened by accident, but I am so glad it happened. So this video is basically going to be me speaking a little bit about some things that I've learned through taking this unexpected time off training and focusing on my diet. Also a little bit of the science behind these things, how I'm feeling at the moment, and I'm also going to take you through my first proper gym session back. One thing I want to note really quickly is I sound nasally, but I promise you I wouldn't be going to the gym if I didn't feel well enough to train. It's just congestion now, and I have a rule where if I feel like I can have a productive session and I also feel like I'm not contagious anymore, which I really don't think I am. I've been poorly for like well over a week now, going on a week and a half. I wouldn't go, trust me. Like, I am the biggest advocate of listening to your body, and I really have, in terms of not training. Work, maybe not. So please don't worry about that. If I wasn't well enough to be going back to the gym today, I promise you guys I wouldn't be. So let's talk about what actually happens when you take time off the gym, because this is something that I think a lot of influencers misrepresent sometimes without necessarily realizing they're doing it. And I understand why they do it, because they might not know, or they might feel like they have to always keep up a certain appearance. But it's very common for you to see influencers taking a week off the gym, 2 weeks off the gym, and they'll give you this big update and they're like, I've lost muscle, but I'm so ready to get back on it. The truth is, you do not lose muscle that quick. I'm gonna pop in a clip of how I'm looking at the moment, and it's different, but it's really not that different. I'm looking a little bit flatter, but it's nothing crazy. And in myself, other than, honestly, I don't feel very fit at the moment, but I think that's probably due to the fact I've been poorly as well. I don't feel that different in myself, and that's me being completely honest. I feel a little bit on the flat side, but I don't feel all that different. And the reason being is because when you take time off the gym, your inflammation within your muscles comes down, the glycogen stores within your muscles deplete, you don't have as much of a pump in your muscles, so your muscles are appearing smaller. But I promise you, within like a week or 2 weeks off training, provided that you're not bed bound, you are not actually atrophying, aka losing your muscle mass. The size may look smaller due to lack of pump, lack of inflammation, lack of glycogen, but you are not actually losing muscle mass. It's much more to do with lack of pump. So it looks smaller, but the actual size of your muscle fibers has not shrunk. You've not lost any muscle mass. You've not lost mass, you just look a little bit smaller. So that's why you might see people saying that, but you don't lose muscle that quick. Like I said, if you've been bed bound, a lot of the research shows 2 weeks before you start losing muscle mass, but most people are not bed bound unless they've been really, really poorly. Most people can do some light activity, walking around, moving around, you know, they're not completely bedridden. And then in terms of actual muscle loss, it can take around, they don't know exactly because it's very hard with these studies to know what's, you know, actual muscle mass being lost and what is the actual like pump being lost, because when you're measuring like the cross-sectional size of your muscle, it's hard to tell whether it's actual muscle mass lost or the cross-sectional size is just smaller for the reasons I just mentioned. Lack of pump, your muscles aren't as inflamed, and you don't have those same full glycogen stores in your muscles. However, if you ask most people or look into most research, it points towards 3 to 4 weeks of training before you start atrophying. Now, the really important thing to note is all these things will be impacted by, like I said, your activity levels. If you are still doing some training, you're unlikely to lose much, if any. And after 3 to 4 weeks, you're not going to start like losing it, you know, rapidly, unless you are completely, you know, bed bound. And also diet does play a role as well. The less you are eating, the less protein you are eating, that can impact how quickly you lose muscle mass. But again, not really that much. And they've done studies where they've had people on a slightly lower protein diet whilst they were taking time off training. Didn't make that much of an impact. So those things can influence it, but not a crazy amount. Now, the good news is, I know that when we have spent so long building muscle, we stress, we panic about how long it took us to build muscle, and it's easy to think that to get that muscle back that you may have lost if you've taken a significant amount of time off training, you might be thinking, shit, it's going to take me that long again to gain it back. And that's not true. So let's explain that one a little bit. So don't panic, because it's a lot easier to regain anything you have lost than it is to gain it in the first place. So you have a thing called muscle memory, and they've done a few studies on this. The one that jumps out to me is the one where they had people training consistently, and then they had another group training and taking 3-week breaks. And at the end of the period of the study, both groups had gained pretty much the same amount of muscle mass, even though some people were taking 3 weeks off at a time, which just shows muscle memory is very much real. After a few weeks back to training, you will have rebuilt most of your muscle mass, obviously depending how long you've taken off. But if it's just, you know, 4 or 5 weeks, a few weeks back in the gym, and I promise you, you will have regained any muscle mass that you lost, and it won't have been that much that you lost anyway. Even if you've taken a week off and you think you've lost muscle mass, like I said, after a few days back in the gym, you will be surprised how similar you look to how you did a week prior before you took all that time off, because you will have regained that inflammation in your muscles, glycogen stores will be fuller, and you'll have that pump back again, so your muscles will be looking nice and full again. It's not as easy to lose muscle mass as we think. It takes a lot longer than you might think. The losses are not that significant for short time periods of training, and if you do lose muscle mass, it comes back a lot quicker than you think it is. And also, take what influencers say with a pinch of salt when it comes to, oh, I've taken a week off the gym and I've lost so much muscle mass. It appears they may have, but they actually haven't. It's just they don't have the pump there as much, so they're looking a little bit flatter. So please always take that with a pinch of salt, and it's something I'm always conscious of now, not sort of pushing that narrative. Now, in terms of me, myself and I just want to say before I get into this, my thoughts on this are not perfect. My thoughts on this are a little bit messy. My thoughts on this might be a bit contradictory. That's life. They might not necessarily be the most perfectly articulated thoughts, but this has 100% been such a learning curve for me over the past month. If you'd have asked me a year ago if I thought I had a healthy relationship with training, I would have told you yes, 100%. I'm so healthy with my relationship to training, my diet, I'm so healthy with it. I've got a really healthy mindset towards it. I definitely didn't, because every single time I've been away and I've had to take time off training, it hasn't stressed me out taking time off training. It hasn't caused me, distress and like ruined my holidays. It's not been like that for a few years. I have been better with it, but it has been in the back of my mind thinking, oh my god, like I need to get back in the gym, or like body checking a little bit is something that I was really bad for. I'd be on holiday and I'd be like, oh, my glutes are looking a little bit flatter. This past month, I can honestly say it's the first time I've taken time off training, not been paying attention to my diet, and genuinely not thought about it too much. The only essence in which I've thought about it really is how much my mindset has changed, because last year I would have been thinking about it a lot more. Now, I don't know if it's just because, for example, when I was in Turkey, I had lots going on, I was busy, I wasn't thinking about it, and then since I've come back, I've been so busy with work, I've not had time to think about it, but it's really not stressed me out or caused me any sort of, I need to make sure I'm getting back in the gym, or like the body checking stuff. I haven't been doing that. I've just been like, I've got to take this time off training, because training has just not been a priority for me for the past month. I've had a lot going on. I've had other things that have been more important, and that's perfectly okay. And the same with my diet. I have never paid this little attention to my protein intake in my life. And I'm not saying that's necessarily the best thing, because like I said, my diet has not been good. Like, it's not been healthy, full stop. Whilst I was away, it was a little bit better, but I've even my micronutrients have been down, which is probably why I've been so poorly. I haven't thought about it really at all, which is so different for me. And I genuinely, hand on heart, thought I had a healthy relationship with training and food before, but I really feel like I'm starting to realise there is a lot more to life than the gym, diet, protein, the size of my muscles. And that doesn't mean I'm sacking off the gym. That doesn't mean I'm doing a 180 and I'm gonna start doing just yoga. I'm never touching a weight again. But also, like, I've never felt this in years. I have probably never felt so smooth within my body. And that doesn't mean like size wise or like bulk. Oh, I'm not as bulky as I was. I just mean like I don't have a pain anywhere other than when I've been poorly and I've had a sore throat. Like, my muscles feel so well rested in a way that I have not felt this well rested in years in terms of my actual muscles, which is something I do want to be more cautious of now I'm heading back into training again. I want to make sure that I'm actually staying on top of things, and recovery is something I've always been good with for the past few years. I don't mind taking rest days. I don't overtrain, but I don't do that extra work. Recovery is more than just taking a rest day. It's actually making sure that I'm doing things like getting massages, getting things checked. If I've got like a bit of a niggle, which I'm awful for, I don't get it checked. So that's something that has been, made acutely aware to me of something that I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of, because if I can be training properly and also feeling as good as I do in my body at the moment, that would be amazing. That would be game changing. Sorry, I've just had to move the camera because the lighting was driving me insane. But like I was saying, that is something which I've not felt this like, just like I've got like nowhere is sore or painful, and I've not felt that in years. So that's another thing that's been really exciting. And then from like a diet point of view, I have taken time off tracking definitely for extended periods of time in the past few years, because I have quite a good idea of sort of what's in what food now, and I don't feel like I need to track as consistently as I did when I first started getting into the gym. But I do definitely feel like I've not focused as much on protein in my diet for the past month, which again, I'm not saying it's like the best thing in the world, but has it been nice to take so much pressure off always trying to hit like 130 or 140 grams of protein, eating things that, to be honest, sometimes I don't necessarily want to have a protein shake, I don't want to have a protein yogurt, sometimes I just want to go to bed on like 110 grams of protein, and I've not thought about that for the past like month. Now I do want to get my protein back up because it is really, really important for me. So that's not me saying I'm going to like a 50 grams of protein a day diet, but has it been nice to take a break from it? Yes, it's been amazing to take a break from it. And I just feel like this video is such good timing because of, like I said at the start of this video, the time of year that we are approaching. A lot of people are going to be having to take time off training or not be as strict or as stringent with their diet, and this is something that hasn't changed for me with my coaching clients. I've always put out the same messaging every single year, but I promise you guys that one, not only, as I've just said, is it not going to make a huge difference. Like, your girl has taken a month off pretty much anything fitness related, bar 2 sessions. I've not tracked a single thing. My diet has not been awful. And if you look at me, I really don't look that different. Realistically, it's not made much of a difference. And anything I have lost, half of it is probably just a lack of pump from not training. The other half will be back within a few weeks because muscle memory is so real. That aside, there is so much more to life. Like the experiences I've had in the past 4 weeks, to be honest, the past 2 weeks, we won't talk about because the experience has been going to bed at 2 a.m, getting up at 5 a.m to get my Black Friday stuff sorted, so we won't talk about that. But Turkey, an incredible experience. Dubai, amazing to experience a new place. Memories that I will remember forever. I will remember forever, you know, the opportunities that I had in Turkey. I'm pretty sure when I get to 80, if I'm lucky enough to live that long, that will be such a cool story to tell grandchildren if I have them. That will be such a good memory for me. And I'm not, on the other hand, and neither are you are not going to get to 80 years old and be like, oh my god, that 4-week period that I took off training and tracking to make memories, or, you know, when I was poorly, oh, it really messed me up for life, that did. Whereas if you are saying no to things this holiday season, and I hope this doesn't upset anyone, but like, if you still have grandparents alive, you are so lucky. I've got no grandparents left, and there is no, to be honest, even age aside, there is no telling if this is going to be anyone's last Christmas or not. Life is very unpredictable, and you may very well get to 70, 80, 90, sat in a care home, and these are the things that you will regret. You will regret skipping out on memories with friends and family in order to go and kill yourself in the gym, even though you didn't really want to go because you felt guilty. And this is not me saying sack the gym off completely, go and do whatever you want, whenever you want. You can still make all the, you know, all the progress in the world. You can have it all. There has to be a fine balance of things, but balance is not sacking everything off and missing out on all these opportunities at this time of year or any time of year, full stop. I love the gym, and the gym is an amazing place, and it's given me a lot of confidence, a lot of boosts, a lot of strength, a lot of opportunities even. Like, my job came from going to the gym. Like, the gym has given me a lot of amazing things, but there is also so much more to life, and to be honest, so much more to me as a person than the gym or the size of my muscles. So even if you do lose a little bit of muscle mass, like I say, first of all, it's going to come back so quick, but second of all, there is just more important stuff in life. And I really hope that my unplanned month off training can not inspire you guys, but just take the pressure off a little bit, because like I said, I don't think this would have happened if I'd have like planned it out. Like, I wouldn't plan to take a month off training. It's just sort of the way the cookies crumbled. And for both myself and my own mental well-being, and how I view training, how I view myself, I'm glad it happened. But also for you guys as well, I'm glad it happened, because that means I get to make this video and hopefully put some minds at ease. And I just feel like I've got a very different outlook on training. Like, I'm excited to go to the gym today. I'm excited to be more healthy with my diet again. And I'm excited to obviously get stronger and build back up. But I'm not going back thinking, oh my god, like I've got to get all this stuff back super quick. I'm just excited to get back in the gym, and that isn't necessarily a mindset I have had before. And I know that this isn't like perfect thoughts or, you know, the cleanest delivery. Like I said, it was going to be a little bit messy, it was going to be a little bit maybe conflicting, but it is also completely honest. And just like in the past I've said, I had a really healthy relationship with training. I really felt I did at the time, but I now feel like it's at a new level. And if this hadn't happened, I probably would have gone through life thinking that my view on training and diet and stuff was completely healthy. And I don't think it was that bad, but I do think this is like a new level of like acceptance and finding like a truer balance for me. So that really excites me. I was going to go yesterday and I didn't feel up to it, so I didn't go, but I am going to go today because I do feel well enough. I'm going to do it mic'd up. I'm going to show you guys how I approach getting back into the gym after a month off, because I've never done this before. So we'll see. We'll see how much my strength has been impacted. We'll see how I get on. I'm gonna take it easy because, like I said, I don't want to make anything worse or be obscenely sore, but just a nice little ease back in session. And yeah, I'm gonna take you guys through it, mic it up, and yeah, but first I need to take some pre-workout and repack my gym bag because she is not packed and she hasn't been for a month. Okay, let's pack my gym bag. She is empty other than Pugolina, who is a permanent feature of the gym bag. People that watch my vlogs know. I basically, if you don't know the backstory on Pugolina, she was in Tesco in the reduced aisle with a yellow sticker on her for like 20p, and I just felt bad because it was just her and then like food that was going mouldy, so I didn't want to leave her. Do you know what I mean? I just felt bad. So then I'm gonna pack my barbell pad, which is from Upper Gear. Love this barbell pad. My Alphalete one I loved, but I left her in the gym and then I thought I'd lost her. And then I saw her a few weeks ago and she's been like ripped sort of in half. So RIP, but also I'm not mad because it's my own fault. Like, I did leave it clearly in the gym. And if you leave things in the gym, it is sort of just fair game. Obviously, if it's something like a credit card, probably not fair game, but I feel like accessories and stuff, people would then just assume it's the gym, so they use it, and that's fine. I'm not really too bothered. My ankle strap I'm gonna take as well. My other accessories that I use are lifting straps and a lifting belt. However, Mama is definitely not going heavy enough today to warrant lifting straps or a lifting belt, so I'm not gonna pack them, but this is what they look like. I really need to wash my lifting straps. My lifting straps are from Upper because they are pink. They're covered in fake tan, essentially. So I need to wash these, but those are my lifting straps. And then my lifting belt is, there's a theme here. We've got pink again, but it's like dusty pink. It's the Alphalete one, and I really enjoy her a lot, but we don't need to pack her today because I'm not gonna be going heavy, to be honest. OOTD, I've got on my white Shrug from Alphalete. I've got one of the new seamless halters on. Size small, still water shorts, size small, silver earth dye joggers, size small. Everything is a size small. And my pre-workout of choice is going to be the Ghost Pump Power Strips. I'm so glad I bought 2 of these when they launched. I don't know if they're sold out, but I know that these things tend to be limited edition. And I'm obsessed with the pump pre-workout, and I'm obsessed with this flavour. So still on my first tub, but I'm going to take some of this. I'm not going to do caffeine today because I've already had 2 coffees, so I'm not doing more caffeine today. But yeah, I will probably put this in my Stanley. I've actually just remembered I forgot to tell you the most important thing I've got on, which is my Alphalete socks. I've just pulled something in my hip. My Alphalete socks are like the best thing ever, and I bought so many on Black Friday, so I've got the grey ones on today. Let's go to the gym. I'm gonna put a hoodie on as well, actually. Perfect.
Please set the hood down.
It's giving point. Okay, let's make a pre-workout and let's get to the gym. I feel like this looks really weird, but we move, it's fine. Okay, so I've got to the gym. Obviously, with being poorly, I want to make sure that I'm doing a proper warm-up, which I always do anyway, but my standard warm-up for leg days is literally really boring. I do leg swings, forward, side, some hip openers, and that's pretty much it. I do a very simple leg day, but today, because I've had a little bit more time off and because I've been poorly, I'm probably going to do a few more rounds of it. So I might do like 3 or 4 rounds as opposed to my usual like 2 when I'm in the groove of things. Okay, so first proper movement of my session, I'm just going to do barbell hip thrust. I was going to do RDLs first, but the platforms are a little busy, so I'm starting with these. Like I mentioned, I'm going to try and knock like 20%-ish off my weights. I've knocked a little bit more off this just because I really don't want to tire myself out. So I've got 100 kg, I've got 4 20s, which is 20, 40, 60, 80, and then the bar, which is 20. I do also get asked sometimes if you should count the bar in your weights. The answer is yes, because you are lifting the bar with the weight on it, so it does count towards whatever you are lifting. But I've taken like 20%-ish off. Usually I would be hitting like 140, so I've gone down to 100, which is like 25% off my weights. Even if I feel like I can do more, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to push myself too much, because if there is still like little chance that doing this could make me more poorly, I want to avoid that. So I'm gonna stick with 100, 8 to 12 reps. I'm not gonna be doing anything like low rep. Equally, I'm not going to be doing anything super high rep today either. But yeah, Dan is just there. He's got his new Alphalete vest on. Oh my god, you're like a gremlin. What? Have you got anything to say? Huh? Have you got anything to say?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay. But yeah, nothing super high rep, nothing super low rep either. I'm just gonna breeze through this session basically. It's just a getting back into the gym one, and I'm not putting pressure on lifting heavy. I really don't want to get poorly again. So yeah, in terms of form, I've gone over this like 1,000,001 times, so I don't feel like I need to, but feet far enough out but not too far in, so that when you're at the top of the movement you've got a 90-degree angle with your shins. I'm not training 4 weeks, so this might be a little bit off. Properly looking out of the top, making sure I'm not really curving my back on the way down, all that good stuff, and making sure I'm actually using my glutes to lift the weight and not just relying on momentum, which sometimes dropping the weights can help you focus on that a little bit more. But yeah. Also, in terms of my proximity to failure, I'm going to push myself a little bit, but I'm not going to go like balls to the wall. Probably leaving 4 or 5 reps in the tank. And also, obviously I've just done that set. I feel like people can look at having to lift lighter in just a negative way, but it's not just a negative, because when you are lifting a bit lighter, like if you've had to take time off, or you've been poorly, or for whatever reason you're just not as strong that day, because your strength will be impacted quicker than your muscle mass when you take time off. It's also an opportunity when you are going lighter to really hone in on your form and your mind to muscle connection, and making sure you're lifting using the target muscles, not just swinging with momentum. So as much as it might feel shit to have to lift like 40 kilos lighter than usual, it's also an opportunity to really work on your form and your intention with your lifting. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm definitely experiencing a lot more breathlessness than normal, which is always to be expected. I always find that this is a thing I notice most when I come back after time off, is my breathing is like
I get really breathless really quickly. But also I definitely am a little bit weaker because 100 kilos is usually like a warm-up weight, and that did actually feel quite difficult. Could be from having time off, but I also think it is being impacted by me being poorly. So yeah, I'm gonna do 2 more sets of this. Okay, so I'm going to do RDLs now. I'm going to do them a lot lighter than I usually would. First of all, they're not my first movement of the day, but second of all, I just know my grip strength is something I find goes very, very quick. So yeah, maybe I should have bought my lifting straps, but I'm not intending on going heavy. And to be honest, I'm not really bothered about pushing my muscles to absolute failure today. I just want to move my body and have my first session back and get back into the swing of things. I'm not bothered about pushing super hard today, so I'm going to go quite a bit lighter. I'm going to try 50 kilos. I might try 55, 60, but yeah, I'm going to go a lot lighter. And like I said, it's a good time after you've been poorly to focus on form and technique and all that sort of stuff that you might, yeah, you'll probably work on it when you're pushing for progressive overload, but it's not all doom and gloom. Like, there are other things that you can focus on. And also, when you've been training for as long as I have, the progress with weights can be so slow. So it's actually nice when you've taken a bit of time off to come back and like be able to build it up quite quickly again, because you don't really get that the longer you've been training. But yeah, I'm gonna do my RDLs. I have 100% lost strength, because usually 50 kilos would be like a light up that I could go for reps and reps and reps, a light up, a warm up weight that I could go for like reps and reps and reps. That was hard to get like 8 to 10. So I've definitely lost strength on this, but again, I do think that is, yes, time off, but also the fact that I've been poorly, and like I mentioned, my grip strength is always bad when I come back, but also that was really burning my hamstrings. So yeah, this is definitely feeling a lot heavier than my hip thrust did, but my strength will come back. It's just, oh my god, 50 hasn't felt that heavy in a very long time. Okay, so I'm going to move on to my third movement, and I'm going to do single leg press. If you've got my program that I shared for free, you will notice this is not in my program. The session I'm doing is not in my program. I just don't want the pressure of following a program first session back. Also, I've got quite a lot of low rep stuff and also quite a bit of unilateral stuff in my program, which is fine. And obviously this is unilateral, but I don't want to be doing anything that requires balance with me being a bit more breathless and just not feeling great. I don't want to be doing anything where I have to focus on balancing. So that's why instead of doing a step up or a split squat or a lunge, I know this isn't the exact same, but instead of doing that for a unilateral movement, that's why I'm doing single leg press, because it gives me a bit more time to catch my breath. Not to be a lazy bitch, but I don't have to stand up to do it. I can sit down. It's a lot more stable. To be honest, I just feel like I'm going to feel, this feels more doable than the thought of doing like Bulgarians right now. That is just not even an option. Like, that's not even on the menu. So Oops. So much for taking it easy. I forgot how heavy this leg press is. So single leg is like, even without weight, 8 reps right now. I'm going to finish up my session with some cable abduction work and leg extensions. Cable abductions, honestly, purely because they give me quite a nice pump and I'm feeling a little bit flat. I told you this video would be a little bit messy. Like, I don't think my body's changed that much, but I get very, very, very in my head and I am feeling flat. I just tried to take some selfies and I'm like, I feel flat. Like I said, I just want to be honest and open. This video is not, you know, the beacon of body positivity, maybe, but I just want to be honest about how I'm feeling. So cable abductions always give me a nice little shelf pump, so I'm going to do those and then leg extensions, and I'm going to call it a day. Okay, so let me pause my music so I can actually hear what I'm saying. 1 second. By the way, if you've not listened to You Broke My Heart by Drake, that is the gym banger for the remainder of this year. That and Bad Bunny is pretty much all I've listened to today. Oh my god, Drake's album was so bad the first time he dropped it, and then he's dropped it again with like 6 new songs. Those 6 songs alone are better than like 90% of the original album. There's another song that's really good as well. I think it's like If the Shoe Fits or something. That's a really good song as well. It's more like storytelling, but You Broke My Heart. And I said the first time I listened to it, I was like, this is going to be like a viral song. It's going viral on TikTok, so. But yeah, that aside, I'm doing my last movement of the day, which is leg extensions. Going to go light, high rep, because it's a stable movement, so it's not going to make me feel dizzy. Again, not pushing right to failure. Just getting back in the swing of things. Okay, so that is, 1 second. Can I prop you up with a little, oh stunning, we've propped you up with a little furry friend. This is who you propped up with, if you're wondering. That's why, to be honest, I'm just baiting myself out here for having too many cuddly little toys. I'm going to pick my microphone up because testing, 1 2 1 2. I finished my gym session and it actually wasn't that bad. I feel better for going. I was weaker, which I'll have obviously spoken to you about, but I tried to pick movements that weren't going to completely take it out of me. So like no Bulgarians, no B-stand stuff, nothing like that. Trying to stick with like bilateral movements and anything unilateral, cable work or something where I'm sat down only, just to make sure that I'm not just to make sure that I'm not making myself feel dizzy or unwell at all. Oh, that would be my phone's music. But yeah, I hope this video has been helpful. I hope I've been able to give you guys some tips on getting back into the gym after taking some time off during my session. Hopefully putting you guys at ease if you've recently had to take time off and you're panicking about strength. I've lost quite a bit of strength on some movements, like the RDLs actually shocked me. I wasn't expecting to be that much weaker on them, but it will come back so much quicker than it takes you to build it up in the first place. If you've lost muscle, it comes back so much quicker than it took you to build it in the first place. And please remember, if you've only taken like 1-2 weeks off training, it's so unlikely that you've lost actual muscle mass. You've probably just not got like a pump going on for your muscles, less inflammation in your muscles, so you look smaller. A few days back in the gym and you'll be fine. Any longer, you know, if you have lost a little bit of muscle mass, like I said, it comes back in a fraction of the time it took you to build it in the first place, so please don't panic. This Christmas season, let's make it all about the memories. This isn't me saying, by the way, obviously you cannot take a month off every other month, it will impact your progress, but a month here and there, or if you're poorly or something happens, it's not the end of the world. I don't want this video to be taken out of context. If you have goals to hit, you cannot take every other month off. I mean, you can, but it'll take you twice as long to hit your goals. But yeah, I just hope it's been able to put some minds at ease, and I'm glad, even though I didn't intend to do it, I am glad I took the time off. My body felt really weirdly well rested. Obviously my strength has taken a hit, but the movements felt smooth. My muscle contractions felt really, really good. It was all in all a pretty good session. A little bit annoying that I'm weaker, but it's going to happen when you've taken time off, and like I said, it's going to come back so quick. But yeah, if you enjoyed this style of video and like mic'd up workouts, let me know and I can definitely film some more for you. Let me know what other videos you want to see. If you want me to get back on my vlogging grind, I can. I've got a few videos planned, and I also want to do something vlogmas-y, but not proper vlogmas, because I can't film every single day. First of all, my life's not that interesting. Second of all, I will not have the time, so I don't want to commit to that. But if anyone has any vlogmas ideas for me, that would be fun. But yeah, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to and you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Daniel, any final words for the vlog?
Get your boyfriend a brushed cotton Alphalete vest.
Oh yes, Daniel has on the Alphalete. By the way, this hoodie, I don't know when. I got it in Turkey. It's Turkish goods. Yeah, I'll leave my outfit details and stuff below. See you in my next video. Goodbye. Merry Chrysler.